Okay, so this is our IEP meeting role play video for Janet Doe. I am Krystee Gibson, and I am going to be the special education teacher. And I am also going to be the person that can interpret the instructional implications and evaluation results. We're going to go through and introduce everybody that's a part of this meeting. Okay.
Okay, should I start?
Sure, thank you.
I'm Megan Collins. I'm the 5th grade, I'm playing the 5th grade general ed teacher, Rita Alexander, and the school principal, Terri Jones.
Great.
And I am Colleen Ferguson, and I am portraying the foster mother, Mrs. Jessica Boleware, the foster mother.
I am Anna Goodwin. I'm playing as the psychometrist for Jay Jones.
I am Dricilla Gulley, and I'm going to be the caseworker, Mary Davenport.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for meeting today. I appreciate everybody taking your time and coming in. Again, my name is Krystee Gibson, and I am one of the special ed teachers here that gets to work with Miss Janet Doe. So, of course, the purpose of this meeting is we're trying to develop our annual IEP meeting. We know that she's had one in the past. So we just kind of we're going to look at that old IEP and then develop this new one so that we can do what we need to do to help Miss Doe. And so we're going to review the agenda. We're going to start off. We've already done our introductions. After that, we're going to kind of go through some of the data, look at the old IEP. We're going to look at the new current IEP and develop it, talk about modifications and services. And then we'll review the minutes and close. And if we have any questions, that's time for that. Does anybody have any questions now? Are we good for so far? Awesome. We're expecting the meeting to take somewhere around 30 minutes. Again, we want to be respectful of your time. The student is not going to be attending today. She is actually currently in class. We just felt that that was going to be best, especially with us not doing the transition services for her. And so now we're going to have our principal going over the meeting guidelines and our statement of confidentiality that we read at all of our meetings.
Okay, guys. Like I said, I'm the school principal, Terri Jones, and I'm so glad to have you guys all here together today talking about Janet. During this IEP meeting, we will be discussing sensitive and confidential information about the student. It is essential to maintain the privacy and confidentiality of all the information shared in this to protect the student's rights and maintain trust among the participants. As such, we kindly request that all attendees respect and uphold the following confidentiality guidelines. Number 1, confidentiality. All discussions, documents, and information shared with me are considered confidential. This includes personal or not information about the student, their family, or any other individuals involved in the process. Number 2, limited disclosure. Information shared in this meeting should only be discussed with individuals who have a legitimate need to know or are directly involved in the student's educational planning and support. Number 3, professional responsibility. Participants are expected to exercise professionalism and discretion when handling any confidential information shared during the meeting. It is important to refrain from discussing or disclosing this information outside of the designated meeting or without appropriate authorization. Number 4, data security. Any physical or electronic documents provided during the meeting should be handled and stored securely to prevent unauthorized access or disclosure. It's essential to protect the student's privacy and maintain data security at all times. Number 5, legal obligations. Participants are reminded of their legal obligations to comply with applicable privacy laws, including but not limited to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act and other relevant state or local regulations. By attending this meeting, you acknowledge and agree to abide by these confidentiality guidelines. The purpose of maintaining confidentiality is to ensure the student's privacy and promote an atmosphere of trust and collaboration among all participants. Thank you for your understanding and commitment to upholding confidentiality throughout this process.
Awesome. Thank you for going over that for us. And also, before we go any further, Mrs. Boleware, I wanted to make sure that I did get the copy that you sent me back of
Thank you.
the special ed rights. I just kind of wanted to make sure that you kept your copy and you have that with you.
Yes, ma'am, I did keep a copy, and I'm glad you received it because I put it in the mail late, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna look at a little bit of the data from some of our testing and stuff from this past year. So we're gonna look at that with Miss J, our psychometrist.
Uh-huh. You want me to lead off? Last year, Janet was passing all academic and non-academic classes with supports. And at the time of the support, she was doing well in her classes. She was testing below the reading level of comprehension. Of word identification was tested below at a first grade level. Word attack was a first grade level. Word comprehension and vocabulary with first grade levels, and passage comprehension was also a first grade level. So we included some accommodations and modifications to help those levels increase for this upcoming school year.
Awesome. Awesome. Do y'all have any questions so far? Mrs. Boleware or Mrs. Davenport? Any questions about those results? Is that about what you expected?
Yes, ma'am, I expect that.
I would like to add that she is doing very well in math. She's functioning at a fifth grade level, so that's great.
Awesome. That is great. That is great. I thought I'd say.
Yes, ma'am. I hope she can get to fifth grade level from first grade level at the end of the year, or close to it, you know.
Yeah, I think we can definitely improve on the reading comprehension. So
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, and so we have determined that she is eligible. She's eligible under her specific learning disability for the comprehension, and we've seen those results. Okay, so now we're going to look at some goals and objectives from last year, and we're going to that'll give us a starting point for what we need to do to develop the goals and stuff for this coming year. So last year for our 22-23 school year, we had her goal as after explicit and targeted instruction with the special education teacher and with the use of a visual alphabet and syllabication chart, Janet will accurately write 5 multi-syllabic words in isolation and in context with 70% accuracy in 3 out of 4 trials. So 70% accuracy. Now she did complete that by the end of the year. I know her teacher had been working really hard with her on those particular things. And so I know that when I would pull her and we would do it, that chart really helped her a lot. Did you see that in class also?
Yes, the chart, I'm her gen teacher, Miss Alexander, and the chart was very helpful in class. I was able to see that was a very helpful tool for her.
Awesome. Okay, good. So what about at home? Did she ever use that with homework or anything?
Yes, she really did. She enjoyed it. Sometimes she would just go back and do it over, she'll repeat it, the lesson. So I can see that she really enjoyed it.
that's great.
Good, good. Okay, so definitely she did meet that goal, and that was with 5 words with 70% accuracy in 3 out of 4 trials. So maybe when we're looking at our goals this year, maybe possibly we could look at maybe increasing the accuracy and maybe even increasing the numbers, but we can look at that when we get there, no problem. Okay, and then the other goal that we had set for her was another reading goal last year, and it was by after explicit instruction on blending, decoding, and encoding from the special ed teacher, and with the use of the visual alphabet and syllable chart, Janet will use combined knowledge of the letter sound correspondences, appropriate blending, syllabication patterns, morphology, and word attack skills to correctly read 10 multi-syllabic words, grade level words in 10 minutes with 70% accuracy and 4 out of 5. Now, we worked so hard on that, especially on those blends that at the beginning. She did those and she really seemed to like it. She enjoyed the games that y'all played in class. She really loved that. Did
Yeah,
she-
those are a big help. Those are a big help for sure. She definitely enjoyed that. And I think that was helpful. The games were helpful to get her involved with relating for peers. I think it was just helpful, not just necessarily with the blending skills, reading skills, but also with some peer-to-peer skills as well.
Awesome.
She
Good.
talked about that at home too, how much fun it was.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Good. Good. Okay. All right. And so I'm just going to start taking a little note right here. So she was doing 10 words, grade level words in 10 minutes with 70% accuracy and 4 out of 5 trials. So we'll look at that. Okay. So now let's talk about the new IEP. I know I've already passed out a copy to everybody. So let's look at that together. We've got Janet Doe, date of birth 2/1/2005. Is for this coming school year 23 to 24, and she will be in the 5th grade. And this will go, of course, from the beginning of the school to the end of school. So from 8/1/23 to 5/23/24. The extended school year services were considered for this child, but they were determined not necessary. So she does not have to go to school year round. Do y'all agree with that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Good. Okay, great. Okay, so next we're going to talk about her strengths. And let me just say, now I know that you can see my notes on this. And it was so hard to put all of her strengths into this little box because she is so talented, which I'm sure y'all already know that. But let's kind of look at some of the highlights here. So Janet's going to be a 5th grader for the 23-24 school year. She is so sweet, very sweet student, and she is always willing to try her best. She is such a hard worker. She's hardworking, she's adaptable, and she really wants to please others. And please her teachers. So she's helpful. She's willing to assist in tasks where she feels confident. Her reading and music teacher, Miss Alexander, said that she is very talented as a singer and she enjoys singing on the playground for her peers. Janet also exhibits talent in the area of art. She enjoys interacting with class pets and the school reading dog. Do y'all have anything else that you'd like me to add to that?
Well, actually about that reading dog, she asked if he could come home with her one weekend.
Did you say yes? We could arrange it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so next, the parental concerns. I know that both Miss Davenport and Miss Boleware have expressed that you both want to be included in all of her meetings. So we made sure to put that in here so that we would know nobody would overlook that.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. We thank you for being involved. And also that you had expressed concerns about her lack of eye contact when speaking to others. Do y'all want to add anything to that?
I would like to add something.
Awesome.
As being, okay, thank you for allowing me this space to talk. Concerning Janet with her low eye contact or, not making eye contact with others, she was in an abusive home, and that's why she was pulled from the home, and it kind of trickled down to how she interact with others. She's very shy because she's withdrawn, and she has to get to know others because of the situation that she was in. So I suggest, maybe you can get somebody to speak with her and work with her on that part of interacting with others, because she is a very talented child. She just came from a rough situation.
Okay, do you
And
think that it would benefit her maybe to see the counselor to help with some of those skills?
yes, with her seeing the counselor, I think that will help her find someone she can relate to and talk to and open up and share more things that she kind of won't share with others.
Okay.
And I know in some school districts, they have peers that they are able to connect with during the day, like an older peer, maybe like a 7th grader, 8th grader, if she's out of middle school. And that will give her somebody like her age, somebody to talk to, like a peer, just somebody to hang out with, be able to go to. So I think that's a good thing too.
Like a peer
Yeah,
buddy.
I think the student peer would be an excellent idea for her, because she can relate to that person, and it'll be somebody that she can open up to.
I think that would be great.
Awesome. We can definitely put that in here. I think that's a wonderful idea. So we will definitely add that in here for her services. Anything else that you wanted to add there? Anybody?
And I wanted to say, as her teacher, I have been working hard to build trust with her when I'm having conversations with her, looking her in the eye, having her look at me, just trying to establish that safety and that trust. And she has made progress with me. And that is something that I'm aware of, that I have in mind when I'm interacting with her.
Awesome. Good. That's so great to put that. We can add that as a strength. Okay. So next we want to talk about her preferences and her interests. And of course we got music. Let's see, we put on here that she enjoys looking through fashion magazines, and girl, you can tell by the way she dresses. And Girls Life magazines. She has an interest in art and enjoys drawing pictures of clothes and shoes. Janet enjoys singing, particularly songs by Jennifer Lopez and Taylor Swift. And she would rather express herself through music and art rather than through reading or writing. Janet has mentioned on occasion that she would rather read to Rover or bring him home, the school reading dog, because he will not judge her if she messes up. So I think that that's another thing that would go back to support the benefit of having a peer buddy and seeing the counselor too. For that. So I think that's a great idea. Would y'all like to add anything? Okay. So the results of the most recent evaluations, I know we looked at this a little bit earlier. Basically, her reading tests are showing that she's reading at approximately a 1.7 grade level. So Ms. Boleware, Ms. Davenport, I know that the teacher and psychometrist usually already know this information, but a 1.7 is equal to like 1st grade, 7th month. So we really want to see that come up some this year. Of course, that is up from last year when she was at a 0.9. So she's made significant improvements. So those goals that we had for her last year were working. We just kind of want to see that improvement carry over into the next year.
I want to try to get her more library books to take home, like especially over the weekend, that she can read.
And that 1.7, so what you really want to look for, you want to look for books that are like close to like 2.0, because it's a little bit challenging for her, but it's not so challenging that it would discourage her. So that would be a very good thing when you're looking for her reading books and stuff.
Thank you. Okay.
And I bet
And I can help her with that at selection. When we go to the library, I can help her find the things that she needs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I also think it would be good if she read the books out loud to you, and that would help with some things as well.
Yes. Okay. Math we're not concerned about. She's doing great. She's actually above grade level in math. So math is wonderful. Maybe she can teach me a few things because math is not my strong point. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this part right here. So this is the academic, developmental, and functional needs of Janet. So to start off, Janet's got an SLD, or a specific learning disability in the area of reading comprehension. Okay, and we're going to look at kind of how that affects her and what we can do to fix it. So although she gives her best effort, she does struggle with decoding words, blending, and then frequently use sight words. Because of this, she feels like the work is too hard. And when she feels like the work is too hard, of course, she struggles to stay focused in whole groups. And then she gets off task and she begins drawing her cute little pictures. And then she misses important stuff that Miss Alexander is trying to tell her. And then she gets upset when she's called on because she doesn't know the answer because she wouldn't pay attention because it was too hard. So I think that's one area that we're going to need to work on. When she becomes frustrated or discouraged or overwhelmed, she puts her head down on her desk and she emotionally withdraws. And that's probably something, Miss Davenport, that you've seen her do before too. So providing Janet with a brief break to decompress and regain control of her emotions is most beneficial for encouraging her long-term participation in the lesson. I did notice that last year when I would pull her out and do some lessons when she would get really frustrated. If I just gave her like 3-4 minutes to step away, take a breather, and then come back, it almost it would help her reset. So I think that's important. Is she like that at home?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
And when I read with her, so that helps.
Good. Janet is performing below grade level in reading and writing, and she would benefit from receiving explicit and targeted instruction in small group setting on blending, decoding, encoding, and sight words. Reading assignments will be incorporated at an instructional level and tailored to her needs. So that we just talked about that, not going into the frustration level, but not the level where, she can already do everything. I saw Jane run. She needs something that will be a little bit challenging for her. Janet will also be allowed to read to Rover each time he visits the school because she loved that. And she'll be provided with an alternate pet buddy. Now, this is something that I can provide, just a stuffed animal that she loves that she can sit and read to when Rover's not available. And just sometimes like hearing it out loud, the thought process behind that is that she won't be judged when she's doing it. So we thought that might be something good to try. Are y'all okay with that?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I don't even mind if you want to do that when she's with me, if you're worried that maybe that might make her feel different because she has that, that's something that we could even do for I can help facilitate in doing that for the whole classroom, or maybe not for everyone, but we could have group time. So there's more than just one person doing that. So she doesn't feel that she's doing something weird or different from the other kids.
Oh, I love that. That's a great way to
That's a good idea.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see. It says she will also benefit from having access to audio records or read aloud support for text to assist with comprehension. We did that last year, and that seemed to be working very well. She'll be allowed additional time to complete the reading task and assignments. We did that last year. Written responses will be allowed to be given as oral responses to the teacher or instructional aides. Now, she loved that part because I think she would just get so frustrated because of her handwriting being at the first grade level. When she saw like an essay question, she would just kind of shut down because she was scared she wasn't going to have time to write it. So why start? So this will allow her to be able to speak it to myself or Miss Alexander, or whoever is in there with her, and do it that way. She'll also be allowed the use of the alphabet charts and the syllable charts during assessments, which you said earlier in the meeting that she loved doing that. She'll have access to assistive technology tools such as text-to-speech software or applications to support her reading and comprehension. Due to her low performance in reading and writing, Janet admits that she thinks others don't like her, and she does not consistently make eye contact with her peers or adults. She admits that she feels more comfortable reading to Rover and talking to the classroom pets. She does not like speaking in front of the class and often shuts down when she is called on to answer a question. If her answers are challenged by her friends, she becomes visibly upset. Janet performs better in small groups, centers, in small groups or small group centers, one-on-one instruction, and via other methods that allow for smaller student to teacher ratio. So that's something that we'll try for her.
Okay, with her, don't keep in mind that the household that she came from, the mom was very aggressive and towards her and verbally abused her. And so that could be a part of why she feels upset and get upset quickly with others. And I think maybe that plays a part with her.
Okay. Okay, great. That is good information to know so that we can get a good background for that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
But I would say in helping her at home, I don't raise my voice at her. Even when she does something wrong, we just try to talk through it.
Good. Thank you for that support.
Mhm.
So we're going to have qualified staff, including teachers and instructional aides, that will provide positive behavior reinforcement to encourage active participation during group work and whole class activities. So that's going to look like the teacher, the gen ed teacher, myself, instructional aide, somebody in the classroom that just is going to be positively encouraging her throughout. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just a little bit of encouragement. The teacher will also provide visual cues and reminders for appropriate behavior during group activities. And additionally, Janet will meet with the school counselor bi-monthly for 30 minutes to work on self-esteem strategies that could help with social skills, eye contact, and ultimately reading in front of others, thus enhancing her academic performance. Do y'all feel like that bi-monthly for 30 minutes is enough, or would you like to see that be more or less?
I think, me personally, I feel that she could benefit from 30 minutes a week.
30
If
minutes?
that could
Sure.
get into the schedule.
Sure.
I think as she gets older, we can crunch it down to by month.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start off at one time a week for 30 minutes now. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree that would be helpful for her right now.
Okay, perfect. And she will also have access to the language support services, to our interventionists, to access her specific language needs and provide appropriate interventions as necessary. Our ELL person was not in this meeting today because all through last year, she didn't even need that service. But I hated to take it out in case she did need it. So that's kind of where we are with that. Every now and then she'll get a little bit nervous, but we wanted her to know that she has that available to her. And then under other, we just put that she is placed in foster care, and she has a caseworker, Ms. Davenport. The transitioning portion is not applicable to this IEP, so we're going to skip through that. Special instruction factors. She does not have behavior which impedes her learning or the learning of others. She does not have a BIP. A behavior intervention plan. Does she have limited English proficiency? Yes, but she is still able to perform well. I mean, she does very well with that. She does not need Braille. She doesn't have communication needs. She does need assistive technology devices. That's going to be like those audio recordings, the Chromebooks for the apps and stuff. So that's what that's for. She won't require specially designed PE. The AAA standards, she is not going to meet criteria for that. And transition services are not needed here. And we know, Ms. Boleware, that you live a block from here, so she's going to walk
right.
each day. So she doesn't need transportation. She will have the opportunity to participate in non-academic and extracurricular activities with her non-disabled peers. This is not going to affect her in that way. And we will do progress reports every 6 weeks. Is that's y'all are good with that?
Mhm.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, this next portion of the IEP is going to be transition. We're going to flip through that. And so now we're going to be looking at the goal page. This is my favorite part. Okay, so this first goal is for the area of reading. Janet's a 5th grade student with a specific learning disability in the area of reading comprehension. Hard worker, gives her best efforts, continues to have difficulty with decoding blends and frequently use sight words. Although she draws beautifully and has great fine motor skills, her handwriting skills are at a 1st grade level. Her total reading scores indicate that Janet is currently functioning on a 1.7 grade level, 1st grade, 7th month in the area of reading. Janet's challenges with reading comprehension cause her to struggle to stay attentive in group settings and cause her to be hesitant to read in front of others, thus hindering growth in these areas. So when we were looking at goals, a couple of things that we really wanted to look at, we wanted to look at her goals from last year. And I know since she did so well with those, Ms. Alexander really wanted her to stick with those and just kind of bump them up a little bit. So this is what we developed. We want to see what your thoughts are. The standard is a 5th grade standard because that's where she's going to be. And it is to use combined knowledge of letter sound correspondence, appropriate blending, syllable patterns, morphology, and word attack skills to read unfamiliar multi-syllable grade level words accurately in context and in isolation. And specifically, did you have a question, Ms. Boleware?
Yes, I do. Would you repeat those again? I missed the first part of it.
Okay, sure. To use combined knowledge of letter sound correspondences, appropriate blending, syllable patterns, morphology, and word attack skills to read unfamiliar multisyllabic grade level words accurately in context and in isolation.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And so by the end of the 24 school year, after explicit instruction on blending, decoding, and encoding from myself, or the special ed teacher, and with the use of that visual chart and that syllable chart, Janet will use combined knowledge of letter sound correspondences, appropriate blending, syllable patterns, morphology, and word attack skills to correctly read 20 multi-syllable grade level words in 10 minutes with 80% accuracy and 4 out of 5. So you'll see that we bump that up from 10 words to 20 words in 10 minutes. And then we added onto the accuracy. So we want to see her be 80% accuracy with those words. And I really do think that's something that she can do.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that's an attainable goal for her.
Good. Okay. Are y'all okay with that, everybody?
Mhm.
Okay. And then we are going to check that by teacher observation and data collection. Then we're going to flip over to our next goal, again in the area of reading. And that one was more for receptive, like reading. This goal is going to be, it's still in reading, but it's more like expressive. So writing, that kind of stuff. The same thing that we read before about her strengths and the areas that she struggles. And this goal, the standard is going to be to write familiar and unfamiliar multi-syllable grade level appropriate words accurately in context and in isolation. So specifically, by the end of the 23-24 school year, after explicit and targeted instruction with the special education teacher and with the use of a visual alphabet and syllable chart, Janet will accurately write 10 multi-syllable words in isolation and in context with 80% accuracy in 3 out of 4 trials. So again, we doubled that word from last year because last year it was 5 and then here it's going to be 10. And then we increased that accuracy from 70 to 80. Y'all feel good about that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Right. I'm sorry. What did you say? Okay, we're gonna also look at that with teacher observation and work samples. So then if we'll flip over, we're gonna look at our services page. And so to start off with, we've got our SPED services. So that's going to be like where she receives the targeted instruction in blending, decoding, encoding, and sight words. I'm going to get with her. We're going to do Spire lessons. We're going to do everything it takes. And we are going to really target being able to separate those sounds out and then blend them back together. And we're going to do that twice a week for 45 minutes. I'm going to pull her out to the resource room. And that will be for the duration of the school year. And then we're going to do targeted instruction and reading comprehension 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Again, pulled out in the resource room. How do you all feel about that?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
You feel like that's enough?
You said that's gonna be through the whole year, correct?
It will.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Okay, and then related services, we did put yes, and we're going to let her meet with the ELL, the English Language Learner Interventionist, to address specific language needs and provide appropriate interventions as necessary. We're going to try twice a month for 30 minutes just to see if maybe it is some type of language barrier that is making her feel so, I don't know what the word is I'm going for here, less competent than what she really is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm something I'm trying, and twice a month may be a little much. What do y'all think? Do you think we should do twice a month? Should we lower that?
I think that's good because she's got all these other pullouts, and we want her to still stay in their general ed class.
So change it to once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we'll do 1 time a month for 30 minutes. And then that way, maybe if that is something and we see that that's working, then, we'll know that we can add on to that. For supplementary aids and services, she's going to have that visual chart, the alphabet and syllable charts that she loves. She'll have them daily as needed in the gen ed classroom. She'll have access to all that.
I'll make sure she has all that.
Perfect. Thank you. The audio records and the read aloud support for text daily as needed, whole year gen ed classroom. Then she's going to have that reading with Rover and the pet therapy reading dog, and or the reading with the pet buddy when Rover is unavailable. We're going to try that 1 time a week for 30 minutes in the resource room. And then we can adjust if necessary. Is that good with you all? I know Rover only comes once a week right now.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Program modifications are not needed because she did not meet those AAA standards. And so we did not need those. Accommodation for assessment. She will need the extended time, the use of oral responses in place of written responses, visual charts or graphs. She'll be able to use those daily on any type of assessment that she has as needed throughout the year in the gen ed classroom. The assistive technology, she's going to be able to use her school issue Chromebook for speech to text and text to speech. And then she'll be able to use that for apps that support that reading comprehension. So like the Amplify, Elastic, those kind of apps that she can get on and, play a game that will boost and support her reading comprehension. She'll have access to those daily as needed in the general education classroom. Support personnel, that's where we added the school counselor to work on her self-esteem strategies, including social skills and eye contact. See here, it says twice a month, but we decided once a week, right? Isn't that what you said, Ms. Davenport?
Yeah. Yes, once a week.
Perfect. Okay, and that will be throughout the whole year. And if that needs to be adjusted later, Ms. Davenport, if you see that we need something like that, if you will just let us know and we can reconvene and do that, but we'll start off there.
Okay. Thank you.
I know, thank you. least restrictive environment. Yes, she does attend the school that she would attend if she was not disabled. She is between 6 to 21 years of age. Her least restricted environment is inclusion. So what that means is she's going to be in the general education classroom for the majority of the time, and we're going to try to do everything we can to help her and provide her the supports that she needs in that classroom. And this will be in there for at least 80%, if not more of the time. The other time will make up for or will be used for like the pull-in for the small groups and things like that. And I will give you a copy of this as soon as we're finished here. I did give you a copy of your rights. You told me earlier you got that. And
Yes, ma'am.
let's see here. Let's see where we are. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add to this document?
I feel that everything was appropriate. And I think that with this plan, she will definitely make some progress.
I sure hope so. I think so too. I think that this is a very solid plan, and that that we'll see a lot of good results from this.
I agree.
Thank you. Okay, so I know we had someone that was taking minutes. We need to review and approve those minutes.
Okay, so at the time, we started at 5:35 and we were ending at approximately 6:15. All members of the IEP team were present, including Janet's foster mom, Jessica Boleware.
Awesome, great. Motion to approve? Second?
Yes.
Approved.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to pass this document around, let everybody sign. And then we are gonna ask if there's any closing questions, concerns, comments, happy thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what a joy Janet has been to work with. And, I think these goals that we've made for her are, they are a stretch for her, but I don't think it's anything that she cannot attain. And I'm really working with her in the classroom on, strategies for not letting her frustration and anxiety get the better of her. How can we remain calm? What are some things we can do? And so we're talking about that in the classroom. And she's got a couple of really good other girls in there that work really well with her, and that are that she's made some good friends with. So I think she's going to really, really do well.
Awesome.
I thank you. Yeah, she really wants to learn more because she's energetic and she likes learning. She likes trying to read. So that's a plus.
She's a special kid.
Thank you so much.
I would like to make a comment. I have weekly meetings with Janet. So as being her caseworker, I can incorporate some of the reading time with her as well. And we can go places like to the park or something, and I'll let her choose books and read to me. And so I think I can help on that end as well.
Thank you. Are you okay if I write that in the IEP that you do conduct weekly meetings with her?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, and then recommendations for future meetings. Was this time okay for everybody, or would a different time of the day or day of the week work better?
This was a great time.
Okay.
This was good for me.
Okay, so we'll try to do it around
This was
this
a great time.
day, all that kind of stuff next week. All righty. Well, I thank you all so much for being here, and I sure hope that we see you soon.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank everyone for what you do.
At this time, our IEP role play has ended, and we would like to go over a few highlights from the meeting, starting with the best practices that we used for this meeting.
Yes, best practices we utilized for this meeting were that we created a welcoming environment. We reviewed our materials beforehand, so we were knowledgeable when we came in for the meeting. We used multiple sources of data to build a comprehensive IEP. We focused on the student's strengths, interests, and preferences. We emphasized parental involvement, and we made sure to really listen to all the parties in the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have anything you want to add?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well, I enjoyed